Welcome back. So, I'm sure everyone has heard the tale of Robin Hood at least once in their lifetime. It's a tale that's dated back to at least the 13th century, about a man named Robin Hood, an outlaw that robbed from the rich and gave to the poor. Over the centuries, he's had many retellings and has become a popular face in media and literature. And it's not hard to see why, as the charming outlaw is depicted as a rather sly, clever, and charming character. Now, who here has ever seen Robin Hood Men in Tights? Good, glad to hear it. Robin Hood Men in Tights is definitely a classic comedy, and actually a decent telling of the story. Now, who here knows the movie that it was parodying? No, not that one. Oh, no, not that one either. That one came after Men in Tights. There we go. Directed by Kevin Reynolds and starring Kevin Costner, the film came out in 1991 and was meant to be a different, serious retelling of Robin Hood. And it had some promise, since it not only had Costner, but also Morgan Freeman, Alan Rickman, and Christian Slater, a good group of talented actors. However, the movie proves that having some talent can't always save you, because this film holds a 51% on Rotten Tomatoes. But hey, critics have been wrong before, right? Is there perhaps something to salvage from this film and maybe at least give it a cult status? Nope! And I'm here to talk about why. This is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Let's review. So we get our opening credits and... Wait a minute. What? Why does this song sound so familiar?
We have our heading.
Here we go!
Oh my god. Disney used this song when they were promoting their Blu-rays. I don't know whether to be impressed or tell Robin Hood that he should sue. So the film begins in Jerusalem, where Robin of Locksley, played of course by Kevin Costner, is imprisoned with his friend Peter, played by Liam Halligan, during the Crusades. And now I know which movie scared Puddles during his parody tribute to Kevin Costner.
It will go.
They escape and also rescue a Moor named Azim, played by Morgan Freeman. Yeah, insert your joke about Morgan Freeman being a Moor here.
Cannot save those people, Christian, but you can save me.
My name is Robin, not Christian. Along the way, they run into a little snag.
Message for you, sir.
Give this ring to my sister Mariam. I swear you'll protect her for me.
So return the ring and bang your sister. Got it. They eventually escape Jerusalem and make it back to England 4 months later.
Home! England!
And they then walk to Robin's home, which, by the way, is about 560 miles from the shore of England, yet they make it back in an afternoon. Along the way, they encounter a group of knights chasing a young boy. The leader of the knights is Guy of Gisborne, played by Michael Wincott. And this is the first time I have ever heard someone talk perfect English and yet needed subtitles to understand them. Just listen.
This boy killed one of the sheriff of Nottingham's deer. And in front, after me. You men in the rear, stay with the wagon! Unleash the hounds! Thrown to the man who brings me Locksley's head! My lady.
And if you're sitting there thinking, maybe that's just how he normally talks. Nope. I don't know if it's bad direction or he's trying to do a Scottish or Irish or Welsh accent, or in this case, sounds like all three. But my god, it is a treat whenever he speaks. Anyway, after saving the kid, Robin and Azim make it back to Robin's estate. Only it's not in the best shape compared to when he left it. Oh no! Someone left a crappy Halloween decoration hanging out. Actually, that's Robin's father, and the castle was attacked and raided by the Sheriff of Nottingham, played by Alan Rickman. We then meet Duncan, Robin's servant, played by Walter Sparrow. He tells Robin what happened and that he was blinded by Guy during the skirmish.
And my mother?
She died of pneumonia whilst... Oh, you were away.
My dog Pongo?
Run over by a carriage.
My goldfish Goldie?
Eaten by the cat.
My my cat?
Choked on the goldfish.
Guy also reports back to the sheriff, who seeks the counsel of the witch Mortiana, played by Geraldine McEwen. She foretells that Robin and a painted man will be the end of them, and that they need to stop them if the sheriff is going to usurp control of England from King Richard. And where's Prince John during all of this? Oh, he's not in this movie. Yeah, they omitted Prince John. You know, one of, if not the titular bad guy of all the Robin Hood stories? Honestly, replacing Prince John with just the sheriff makes no sense for a ton of reasons. First off, how does the sheriff get this amount of power? The only reason he had the power to essentially do what he wanted in past stories was because he was backed up by Prince John. You didn't do what the sheriff wanted, you answer to Prince John. And I know there have been tellings besides this one where the sheriff is the main focus as the bad guy, but Prince John is still essentially the looming threat, the reason the sheriff gets away with everything he does. Also, if he has this much power, why does he still refer to himself as the sheriff? Shouldn't he be like a lord or a duke at this point? The thing about the sheriff was that he was always the immediate threat, always the one that went after Robin Hood himself. But here, he has Guy do it instead, while he mostly hides in his castle. And when he does leave, he makes other people do his dirty work. You know, like Prince John. So ultimately, why not just have Alan Rickman play Prince John and Guy play the sheriff? It makes no sense. Well, after Robin buries his father, he keeps his promise to Peter and visits his sister Marion. His greeting is less than welcome.
Wait here.
Right here.
Did I f***ing stutter?
Who are you?
I am the maid Marion.
Well, then show yourself, child, for we knew each other well.
Oh, right, yeah, that's totally Maid Marian. Even Robin's looking like, honey, who you trying to fool? Robin is then attacked by a mysterious assailant. Bet you can't guess who it is. Oh look, it's Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. And before you ask, no, Maid Marian is not a badass outside of this one scene. Which honestly is kind of a shame, because I'd love to see a more epic version of this character. I mean, seeing both her and Robin kick some ass together would be a lot of fun to watch. But nope, outside of the scene, she's pretty much just your typical damsel in distress for the rest of the film. Missed opportunity, guys. Missed opportunity. Robin explains what happened to her brother and tells her his last request. Marion is not too pleased with this news.
I swore.
Well, how very rude of you.
I swore to your brother that I would protect you.
You cannot replace my brother.
I'm a strong, independent Marion who don't need no Robin Hood.
Christian!
My name's still Robin. Azim sees through his telescope, which I'm actually pretty sure didn't exist yet in that time period, to see that Guy and his men are on their way. Robin, Azim, and Duncan escape and make it to Sherwood Forest.
We could lose him in the forest.
Sherwood Forest is haunted, Master.
Either we take our chances with the ghosts or become ghosts ourselves.
Into the woods where we must go so that we can escape our foe. Into the woods and we don't know what's going on in this movie.
Come on, damn you! There are only 3 of them! Robin of the Hood! Son of a devil worshipper! Father died a coward! Cursing your name and squealing like a stuck pig!
They go deeper into the forest and stumble upon a river, where they are surrounded by a group of men. We then meet their leader, John Little, played by Nick Brimble, and Will Scarlet, played by Christian Slater. Little won't let anyone pass unless they pay a toll.
You gotta pay the troll toll if you want to get into that boy's hole.
Not wanting to pay, Robin and John duke it out in the river. Wow, I haven't seen a person who's supposed to be the good guy get his ass handed to him this bad since literally any match with Brock Lesnar. Eventually, Robin does get the upper hand. Really? You challenge people to a fight in a river, but you can't swim? You are a special kind of nitwit. Having earned his respect, Robin and Azine join Little John and his men for the night of fun, much to the chagrin of Will, who seems to hold a bit of bitterness towards Robin. I bet this won't be important later. The next day, Robin sneaks into the church to see the bishop, played by Harold Innocent. And despite the name of the actor that plays him, this bishop is anything but.
I have priests who would hear your confession. Ah! I see the boy I knew in the man before me.
I recognized you from your duck call. The bishop tells Robin about his father's confession, but of course, Robin doesn't believe him. The sheriff then shows up and gives chase. Okay. I know I've been doing a lot of Robin Hood Men in Tight jokes, but considering this was the movie that it was parodying, I think it fits. Hey, cameraman, you're a little shaky on this shot. Huh? Looks like he just got sacked. So, of course, Robin Hood invokes the ire of the sheriff, and they deem him a criminal, calling him Robin of the Hood. Robin of the Hood. Robin of the Hood. I'm not just Robin Hood. So they put a bounty on his head and start looking for him, burning villages along the way. Because there's no better way to convince people that someone else is the bad guy than by burning their homes and looting them. The villagers are not happy and confront Robin about it.
You're still trying to be Lord of the Manor. I heard today that the sheriff now values your neck at 500 gold pieces. I say we take him in.
Wasn't this shit happening before Robin showed up? And granted, yes, he's made things worse at the moment, but what's really going to change if they turn Robin in?
Will, do you think that the sheriff will give everything back after I'm gone?
He'll give us the reward and our pardons.
Wrong. We'll stretch your necks one by one.
See, even he sees the flaw in this logic.
But with the one true weapon that escapes you, Will. Courage.
You could say that again.
After a rousing speech from Robin,
We will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
he teaches the villagers how to fight. After what we assume to be months, or days, considering how long it took for him to walk back to his castle, the villagers become our merry men and begin robbing from the rich and giving to the poor. One of the convoys they rob is accompanied by this film's version of Friar Tuck, and I have to say, this is by far one of the most entertaining versions of Friar Tuck I've seen so far. He's a lot like the classic telling of the character, except a bit more obnoxious, and his portrayal by Michael McShane is a treat to watch. Like in some of the original stories, Tuck does not initially want to join Robin, thinking him more of a common thief.
I'll bite your legs off!
But after Robin literally makes an ass out of him and shows Tuck their hideout, Tuck agrees to help him by being the people's preacher. The sheriff is not too pleased about the failure of this particular convoy though, as it had blood money that he was planning on paying the barons in order to gain more power. He expresses this frustration to Guy. Oh man, why'd you have to kill him? It was one of the most entertaining parts of this movie. Marion and her servant Sarah almost get robbed, but manage to fend off the merry men. Though that's not really an accomplishment, because the two are kind of merry morons. They go to see Robin and... Gee, thanks. I didn't know I had to censor anything in this movie. Robin takes Marion to their hidden village and shows her what's really been going on.
It's intended to bribe King Richard's enemies to unite against him. We intercepted it.
But who would...
Nottingham.
No, Nottingham would not dare challenge the king.
Well...
Wait a minute. Why are you surprised about the sheriff looting money and using it to bribe the barons? You mentioned earlier in the movie the fact the sheriff's been taking land. Is this really a surprise to you? During some festivities of the night, Robin explains a bit more about his relationship with his father.
I was lost after my mother died. My father, too, and for a short time he found comfort in the arms of another woman. I thought he was betraying my mother's memory.
So he gave her up?
For the love of a 12-year-old boy who would never forgive him.
Damn, son, you were a brat. No wonder Marion didn't want anything to do with you at first. We're then treated to a scene where John Little's wife goes into labor and Azim saves her by presumably doing a C-section. And what does this have to do with the rest of the movie?
Nothing. Nothing, Hughes? Oh, boy.
The next morning, Marion and Sarah depart with Duncan, with Robin asking them to send a letter to King Richard. Marion agrees, but not to help King Richard.
No. I'll do it for you.
Who's that special?
Marion writes a letter to the king and entrusts it with the bishop, who apparently has one of the fastest riders in the kingdom. Sarah comes along and, what a surprise, the bishop is working for the sheriff. I mean, considering in an earlier scene during a sermon he singled out the sheriff to be praised, this doesn't surprise me.
Rebecca?
What I am surprised by is that they resort to a cat scare. Marion gets captured and Duncan departs to find Robin and tell him what happened. Of course, he's followed and brings the sheriff to their hideout. On the advice of Mortiana, the sheriff hires Celtic warriors to help attack the camp. Of course, a battle ensues.
Oh, hell no!
Thankfully, they're able to drive the Celts away, only for the sheriff to light them all on fire. Huh. You know, considering how effective that was, it almost seems pointless that the sheriff hired the Celts. Oh wait, it was!
Every time they make a Robin Hood movie, they burn our village down.
Leave us alone,
Help!
No, Robin! That was supposed to pay for the rest of the movie's budget. Robin manages to rescue John Little's wife after they get separated among the trees. He doesn't come out so lucky, though. Alright, that's not how it ends. We still have at least 45 minutes left. Kinda wish we didn't, though. We discover that Marion is being held captive by the sheriff, and he reveals that he has her letter. Though she should have already guessed this, considering the bishop is with her in the sheriff's private chapel. The sheriff then threatens Marion to marry him, try saying that 3 times fast, by using captive children as hostages. Reluctantly, Marion agrees, especially after the sheriff reveals that he has Robin's necklace, implying that he is dead. Oh, if only I was an ass-kicker, then I could mount a rescue and kill the sheriff myself. But of course, Robin is alive, and he brings with him an over-the-top entrance. Hearing a rumor that Robin may still be in the hood, the sheriff goes to the remainder of his merry men and demands Robin's location. Will agrees to go look for him, saying that he never cared for Robin and would gladly sell him out. Will arrives, but instead of turning Robin in, he tries to encourage Robin to continue to fight back. He also reveals that he's Robin's half-brother, being the son of his father and the woman that Robin forced his father to leave. And this brings me to another wasted opportunity in this movie, Will. It is so pointless for he and Robin to be half-brothers. Why is this? Well, because like a lot of things in this movie, they don't go all the way with it. Will just kinda comes back to the camp, reveals they're related, and the two just hug it out. You know, since Will hates Robin so much, why not go all the way with that? You could have made him a full-on bad guy, overtaken by his jealousy and willing to betray his friends just to kill Robin for ruining his life. Or you could have gone another direction, with him reluctantly joining forces with the sheriff because he wants to stop Robin, but is also trying to save his friends. Then, either the sheriff backstabs him, or he backstabs the sheriff, having a change of heart. But nope, we don't get a fight between Robin and Will, we don't get a chance for his character to develop for better or worse, we just get, I'm your brother and we're good now. Also, on the topic of this movie continuing to waste opportunities, John's wife Fanny volunteers to help with a rescue, as the sheriff intends to publicly hang all the people he's captured. Despite John's protest, Robin agrees. And what's her role during the rescue? Bring up some weapons and help John over the wall. That's it. That's her big contribution. Movie. If you want to add scenes with women empowerment, that's fine. That's amazing. Kudos to you. However, with stuff like that, you either go big or you go home. And what did you do? You went home. Whatever. They mount a rescue and manage to infiltrate the town. They also plant barrels full of gunpowder at strategic points. Unfortunately, Will is discovered thanks to being recognized by John and Fanny's son, who is one of the people set to be hanged. Looks like it's time to improvise.
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
And now the finale begins. But not before a rousing speech from Morgan Freeman.
I am not one of you, but I fight. I fight with Robin Hood. If you would be free men, then you must fight.
For Narnia! Man, they really needed some reinforcements. They were so low on able men they had to get the camera crew to join them. Really? A catapult. They use a catapult to scale the wall, and it works? Okay. Considering how stupid this scene is, I'm gonna add something to accompany it that's just as stupid.
If you see fit to send me my one true love. Thank you!
Robin and Azim eventually find the sheriff's private chapel, where the bishop is performing a forced wedding ceremony. Azim and Robin try to ram the door open with the nearest thing in sight. Oh, what do you know? Who knew the fact that the sheriff was so thick-headed would actually come in handy? Robin eventually finds another way in and a duel ensues. The fight, admittedly, isn't too bad. It's decently choreographed and has some good moments to it. Wait a minute, where did she come from? Wasn't she locked in the chapel with them? When and how did she get out? The bishop also tries to escape with a ton of loot, but Friar Tuck comes in and puts a stop to it.
You would not strike a fellow man of the cloth?
No, I wouldn't. In fact, I'll help you pack for your journey. Here's 30 pieces of silver to pay the devil on your way to hell!
This is England!
Get ready.
And that, kids, is why you always bring a knife to a sword fight. Alright, that's settled. Now let's... Holy! What? But after that, everyone is free and Robin and Marion decide to get married. But wait, someone has come to interrupt. Don't worry, folks, the king just wants to give his blessing. It's good to be the king. Thus, Robin and Marion are married, and all's well that ends well. So, what are my final thoughts? I'll put it to you like this. If the parody film does a better job than what you're doing, I think you missed something. I mean, I've seen far worse films, and there are some good points to this one. Morgan Freeman and Alan Rickman give us some good performances, and the choreography in a lot of the fights are pretty good. And I appreciate that the movie at least tries to take some risks and go in a new direction. But overall, everything else is just sloppy, poorly directed, and wasted. There are so many ideas that they didn't go all the way with, and what they did go all the way with didn't make any sense, or was completely unnecessary. If you really want to watch it, then fine, by all means. But personally, I think you'd be better off giving it a pass. Thank you for...
Congratulations! You went through an entire movie with Alan Rickman and didn't make a single Severus Snape joke.
Yes!
Well done!
Oh, thank you! Yeah! Oh, and thank you for joining me. Until next film, farewell. Woohoo!